Last session we are seeing what? Arguments and parameters and return type. So we saw the three things: arguments, parameters, return type of different data types. So today I will be covering how to send array as an argument also, means how will you receive it as parameter, that also we'll see. We'll send an array as argument, we'll see how to receive it as a parameter. Also we'll see how to return the array, and at the same time we'll see how to receive the array. Okay, so this will be concentrating, but to work with this you have to more concentrate on the basics. So again I'll revise little about what? Arrays, because I know you neglect what? Basics. I know that you very well neglect basics. That's why you find so difficult here in what? Simple things, sending arguments and parameters, means accepting in parameters. You find it very difficult only for that reason. Okay, because whenever anybody says int I, now what will you say? I know what is int I. You neglect like that. And you can see how important it is becoming when it comes to arguments and parameters. So that is your major drawback. You always neglect the basics, and in higher things you find it very difficult. So just let me revise you how the array works, and then we'll continue with sending array as an argument, and then I'll receive it as parameter also. First I'll show you one program with that, then I'll return the array and I'll accept it as return type also. Both we'll see. So first let's see how to work with an array. Class demo PSVM. See this. Now first of all the question is, if you want to hold single value, remember this always. If you want to hold single value, what do you do? Use variables. But if you want to hold multiple values, what do you do? We prefer multiple values of the same type. Then we start preferring arrays. If you want multiple values of the same type, then means homogeneous values we say. Okay. So heterogeneous values we'll see later. See, generally I've told you many times. I've told you earlier also. See, your application will be there. Okay, you'll be having one UI like this, user interface like this, and the user will be submitting the values. He might enter his name, he might enter his password, he might enter many values. Okay, once he submits, what will happen? The values will enter your application, and then what will you do? You'll process that value now. Okay, to process that you have to store it in a variable. Remember this basic formula of writing an application, you should not forget. Okay, so whenever the values enter your application, you have to hold them in variables. Right now we are hard coding the values in variables. Int I, so you might have an ID here. If in case you can see here, you can have his ID, you can have his name. Just I'll give you a better idea now. So you can have an ID, employee ID. You can have his name. You can have his password. You can have phone. Phone, you might have multiple phones. Phone 1, phone 2, phone 3. Means one mobile phone, one office phone, like this you might have multiple values. And you'll say submit. So in these values enter into your application, you know how to handle them now. Because see, writing logic you can write, it's not a difficult thing for us. So what we start doing, ID will store it in one variable, this will store it in one variable, this will store it in another variable. But these are similar type of values which we prefer to hold it in an array. Something like a collection. Means collection is group of similar data. So that's what exactly happens. Okay. So if you're seeing how we use this data types extensively in application. Okay. We'll be seeing how we use this data types extensively in application. Just I'm introducing the data types. Later on I'll start using the data types. So generally when you get values of the same type, we instead of say for phone number, I can go for 3 variables here. Int phone 1, int phone 2. See here. Now if I want to really store the phone numbers, I have to go for int phone 1, int phone 2, int phone 3. Like this you will have the variables. Yes or no? And all the values you will store it here. Instead of this we can go for in what? Array of int. Because all the values will be kept in one place. So it will be easy for you to handle and process the data. See, writing logic is very easy. But when you want to write logic now, you need that value. That is very difficult. Okay, when you want to write logic, you need the value. Okay, especially in cluster now I start telling you, we actually teach Java in 3D style. You know what is 3D? Which one is good? 1D, 2D, 3D? 3D is always good, no? So we are learning Java from 3D point of view. You know what is 3D now? 3D Java. So we are learning Java from 3 angles now. So this will be the motto of the full course now in Java. 3D Java means we are learning Java from language point of view. Okay, this is 1D. Second dimension, what it is? Application point of view. Third dimension is what? Third dimension is what? SCJP point of view. SCJP point of view. So we'll be covering Java from 3 angles now. One from SCJP, one from application, one from normal language point of view. Understood? So this actually we need tremendous experience to cover this, and since we have experience we can do it for you. In colleges they teach you only from what? Language point of view. That's it. Or your B exam point of view. And you know what is B exam point of view? Yes? So in colleges they teach you only from language point of view. The extra 2 benefits what you are getting here is application point of view as well as SCJP point of view. So that's what I am just giving you an idea now. See, array. Now you learned it from language point of view. You by heart, like you say what? Array is nothing but collection of similar data. But from application point of view you have never visualized also. Understood? So this is how the values we will enter, and when they are same type, single value, then we put it into one variable. But when they are multiple values of the same type, what we start doing, we'll start preferring arrays like this. Clear? So we will have to hold the data. This is the application. Now this application can be written in any language. Again I am repeating this. This application, same thing, any application in the world will do the same thing. What it will do? It will get the value, it will hold the values, it will process it. Okay, then see, this is primary memory. You know this is called as primary memory. Your application is nothing but primary memory. As soon as your application completes, what happens? All the values will be lost. ID will be lost, name will be lost, password will be lost, phone numbers will be lost, all will be lost. So then end of the day, see, you have received a request and your application will give back, process all that and give back the response telling what? You have been logged in or you have become a member, something like that. It will do it. So all applications in the world will do the same thing. Only which language you are using to develop the application is the question here. Okay. If you use C, C++ to develop this, it takes a lot of time. But if you use Java and all, it is much faster. Okay. So values will enter your primary memory, we'll process it, and later on we dump the values into database. This is secondary memory. Why? Because we'll see what is database. You don't have to worry. But any application in the world is having this basic flow. Any application in the world is having this basic flow. You receive the values, you process the values. Any values you want to save permanently, you'll put it into database. Then you'll give back the response. Next time the user will not give all the values. He'll give what? Only ID and password or name and password. So rest all values, that time what will you do? You'll be retrieving it from database and processing. So sometimes when you are retrieving values from database also, that time you'll, and if they are of same type, that time also you'll be storing it in array. So when you retrieve values from database also and bring it into primary memory, that time also you'll store it in array. When you receive it from the user interface also, that time also you'll be storing it in array. End of the day, the thing is, when you're having multiple values of same type, we store it in an array. So this is how it will be used in application. And we are going to develop applications. We are definitely going to develop applications and we'll be having a clear idea about all this. Clear? So values, see, this is how your application is there now. The values will be pumped into your application from 2 places. One is from UI, user interface, other one is from database. Okay, first time you'll enter all the value. Next time, in the next time, what will you do? You'll enter only the name and password. That time all the values you need it from database. So this is secondary memory. This is primary memory. Both are very important. Secondary memory is used for permanent storage. Primary memory is used for processing. You cannot process data in secondary memory. Secondary memory is only used for storage. So similarly, you have learned database in college as what? Only from database point of view. You have never seen it from application point of view. So everything what you are going to cover here will be covered. Even database will be covering from 3 points. 3D database will be seeing. Language point of view, database point of view, application point of view, as well as there is one more exam you can write for a database from that exam point of view also. So we will be focusing like that itself. Clear? And so this is the basic idea. So which language you use to develop your application is your question. Okay, so to develop these things in C, C++ and all that, it is very, very difficult. If you choose Java to program, it is going to be easy. So even we are going to develop finally the same type of application. There is no difference. Okay, only thing is now what we are doing, we are splitting and learning one by one. First I'll teach you the programming language, then I'll teach you database, then I'll be teaching you user interface, then we'll integrate everything. So using only one Java language you can't develop anything here. Okay, you need the support of database also, some presentation language like HTML and all that. So here we'll be using, so many languages you need now. You need HTML, that's one language, that's a presentation language. Now one programming language you'll need, that is we are learning Java. Then one querying language we need, that is called as SQL. So all this we need. And one by one we are progressing ahead. If you think you know only one Java, I can get the job, it's not possible. Even when you go to company also, you should know all the three also. At the same time, you should know how to integrate all the three and develop an application. So we are still learning different, means separately we are learning. Once we complete Java, then we'll be going with database, then we'll be going with HTML, then we'll integrate all the things. Are you clear with this? So anyway, the focus is what now? Array. So the focus will shift back now. We want to process array, means we'll store the multiple values of the same type in the array now. So that is from application point of view. That means why I told you this much about an array is so that you should understand how important it is. Simply if I teach you array, you will neglect it, you will not know what is the actual usage of it. So arrays are very important, no doubt about it, they are very very important. Okay, so now what happens? Let's see how to hold the values in an array. Okay, after holding values in an array, what will you do? You will process it. So definitely you will not be doing the processing in what? Main method. Because you will be writing the processing logic in another method. Yes or no? Definitely write it in another method, because if you go on writing all the logic in main method, how will you reuse? So definitely all the logic you will be writing it in some other method. So if the value is there in an array, okay, now you have to send all the values in the array to another method. Yes or no? So that's what you have to learn now. It's very important. You should know how to send arguments, array as arguments. And one brilliant thing about an array is you'll start seeing now, okay, you'll have a single parameter and you'll be sending so many values to that single parameter. Innumerable number of values. But if it is a single data type, you can have what? Single value. That's the benefit. So instead of, supposingly if I want all parameters to be sent off, supposingly I'm having 3 phone numbers, I want to send it to a method now. So I have to have 3 parameters of type int now. Headache? Instead of that I'll have what? An array of int. It will become very easy. One single parameter. So that's why we'll learn it from language point of view also. At the same time you should start thinking from application point of view also. Are you clear with all this? And don't forget the motto also. 3D Java you are covering, not 1D. Yes sir? You all like 3D movies only, no? So see. Okay, see this now. First I'll show you how to work with a normal array. First I'll show you. I will revisit the program which we saw long back. Data types I had covered now. Yes, how do you work with an array? Work with the basics here. Int z, you have to use the square bracket. Square bracket can be before the variable or after the variable, compulsory. Or I'll go with int array, A I'll take. So this is the name. If I don't use the square braces, automatically it becomes what? Normal variable. Primitive variable it will become. But this is an array now. Okay. So these both lines are actually mean, what do they mean? Declaring an array. You're declaring an array. Then you have to create the array, next step. You can do it in any lines, either like this or like this. Now to create the array, what will you do? A is equal to new int of 5. You'll specify new and then you'll specify the size. Both is essential. So you can do it in 2 lines or you can do it in a single line. Clear? So this is creating an array. And you know in this line what happens? See, if you print here SOP A, it will give you error. Okay. If you declare the variable and print it, you will get an error telling what? Variable is not initialized. It's similar to this. If you want, you can compare. Just see this. Int p is p. SOPP, what will you get? You get an error. Variable might not have been initialized. Similar to that. Understood? You'll get the error. So here, this is error. But after creating the array like this, you print SOPA. It will print your address. What address? We'll start seeing now. Int A, nothing has happened. No memory will be allocated. But as soon as I say A is equal to new int of 5, see now, memory will be allocated like this. So the size of the array is what? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the array now. So address might be, see internally there will be some addresses. You don't worry about that. Internally there will be some addresses. The array of this, the address of this array would be what? Something like 150. Don't bother about that. Okay. Just in Java we don't bother about addresses, but I'm just telling you. So in this address, an array has been created now. Okay. And the size of this array would be what? 5. And all the default values in this would be 0 because the array is of type int. Default values you know now. If the array is of type double, 0.0. If the array is of type boolean, false. Don't forget the basics. So an array has got created. Now it will print SOPS, some address it will print. Do not bother what is that address, just I am telling you. So the array will be starting in this address. Fine now? Okay. If I want, now see, declaring is over, creating an array is over. Now I have to initialize the array. How will you initialize the array? A of 0 is equal to 100. A of 1 is equal to 101. A of 2 is equal to 102. A of 3 is equal to 103. A of 4 is equal to 104. You can fill the values. So now what happens? It goes on overwriting the values here. Earlier it was 0. A of 0, as the program goes on executing, the values will change here. It overwrites. Yes or no? So initially, if you want, you can access the value and print. It will be what? 0. Initially, if you access, I told you how to access it. You can get and print it. It will be 0. Okay. So after that, I am initializing. So all this is what now? Initializing an array. So this is done. Now next, what you can do? You can use the array. So how will you use the array? So using the array, you know now, A of 2. Return type is what? Int P2. So P2 is a variable of type int. You are using it now. I can get the value one by one and use it, or I can use a for loop and use all the values. You know how to use a for loop now? You can use enhanced for loop. For what? Int I colon what? A SOP I directly, or you can go with your traditional for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I less than a dot length, you can work with that. So this is how it works now. Are you clear till here? Do you have any questions? Okay. One more way how you can create an array is directly like this. Int A is equal to 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. This way also you can create. So here declaring, creating and initializing will happen in a single line. So that time what will happen? Straight away this array will be created. Straight away. Understood? Straight away this array will be created. And notice the difference. SOP A will print what? The address of the array. But the same thing now, if I print SOP A of 2, it will print what? Value in the second index. Are you clear with this? SOP A will print what? Are you understanding? It will print the address. Which address? 150. But SOP A of 2 will print the value in the index. Till here, clear or not? Okay. See, you can declare like this, create an array like this, initialize like this, and then work like that. Or forget all these steps. In one line only, you can declare, create and initialize, and you can use your array like this. In this line, what happens? Directly an array will be created like this. Okay, and sorry, the index I didn't write. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Length of the array is 5, but the index starts from 0. Array is clear now? This array I have created now. So in this line what has happened? Do you understand? A is equal to new int means a new memory gets allocated. Okay, and in that 0, 0, 0 will be there, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be there, size is 5. The address of that array, the starting point of that array address is given to A. No values are there. And if you print SOP, it prints the address of the array, in starting point of the array. Okay, the starting point of the array. Then if you want, you can go on filling the arrays. You are telling now in A of 0, in that address, in the 0th index, fill 100. In A, that address, first index, fill this value. In A, that address, second index, fill this value. That's what you are telling. Clear till here? Any questions? Okay. Now what I'll do is, I'll continue the program here because I don't have space. Let's see this now. So I'll declare one more array now. Int, I'll have an array of type Z. I'll take what array? Int, some name. Int X I'll take. So X is an array of type what now? Int. Because my Z and 3 looks same, that's why I changed the variable name. Okay, so X is a variable of type int. I have not allocated any memory for this. One is you can do it in this way, you know, no? Or you can do it in a single line like this. Both are correct. Okay, so it's an array of type int. X is an array of type int, since size is not there. Now see, first learn how do you give the how do you assign an array in local scope. Understood? In local scope you understand. Now the same thing will happen in what? Arguments and parameters. You understand in local scope. Now the value in A, I want to give it to X, as simple as this, and they are in the same scope. The main is continuing. It continued. Are you clear now? It's continuing now, main. Continuing that flow. Okay. So I want to give it now. So how do I give it? Simply I'll say X is equal to A. I'm assigning. See now what is happening now? Directly I'll give the value of A to X. But what is the value of A? Address. I'm not giving value of A of 0. See here I'm giving A of 2 to P2. But here what am I doing? Giving the address of A to value of A to X. So the value of A of 2 is different. The value in A of 2 is different. The value of A is different. If I want to give the value in the second index, the return, this one will be what? Int. If I want to give the value in the second index, the value is of type int. But if I want to give the value of A, the value is of type address of array. So the address of array I'll assign it to one more array. The address of array I'll assign it to one more array. Now X will refer to the same thing. So here if you print SOP X, you'll get error, variable not initialized. But here if I print SOP X, what happens? Address it will print. Clear? Clear? So fine. So next, so if I want to work now, I can work now. See here, X of 2 int. I can take one variable like int LMNOP. We have taken, I can use any other variable. Okay, A, B, C. So I'll take C. C2. Int C2. So SOP C2 will print what? Value from the second index, that is 1 or 2. Like this you can work. Understood now? Just understand how you are assigning it to local. The same thing will happen where? In arguments and parameters. Nothing will happen there. Same thing will happen in arguments and parameters. Just you are assigning now. If I want, I can see how I am using X now. I am getting the value from second index. Now, if I want, I can use the traditional for loop. Int I is equal to 0. I less than X dot length. I plus plus SOP X of I. You can use like this, or you can use the enhanced for loop. For int I colon X SOP I. Both are correct. This is traditional, this is enhanced for loop. But I am working with X now. Did I do anything for X like this? I just gave the address of A to X. That's it. Nothing more I did. Are you clear with this? As simple as this. So work with your basics properly. When you are comfortable in basics, sending arguments and parameters is very, very easy. And your basic problem in all languages, let it be C also, is what? Data types. You neglect the data types to such an extent that you won't write bigger programs without the knowledge of basics. And obviously you start finding it difficult, too difficult. Okay, remember the rule. We never write logic in main method. We always write the logic in other methods. And if you want to send values from one method to other method, you should know how to send arguments. That rule you don't forget. Okay, nobody will write the logic in main method. All these days in college also they are teaching you how to write the logic in main method only. Why? Because they will find it difficult to teach. They find it difficult to teach, obviously. So obviously what they'll teach you very simple programs. I told you, in colleges they are teaching you from exam point of view, percentage point of view. Here we are not learning from percentage point of view or exam point of view. We are looking at it from career point of view. You want to settle your career with this language. So obviously you have to go more in depth into this. Are you clear with this? Do you have any questions? I'll type and show you this now.
So when you're pointing X to A, that is assigning the value address of A to X, that means both of them are referring to the same address.
Same array, same address.
So now if I have an array of A which has got 5 values, and if I try to access them using X variable, will they give me the same value?
100%, both are referring to the same array. And one more thing is there, very interesting. You modify. This also I'll show you. X of 2, I'll change it to 5, 5, 5. Where it is changed? In X of 2, here it is overwritten to 5, 5, 5. What will A of 2 be now? What will A of 2 be? 100%. Clear guarantee now. Understood? We'll see this program, huh? Yes or no? We'll see this. So first I'll cover this, then I'll show you arguments and parameters. Yeah, then I'll cover arguments and parameters. Shall I clear all this now? So you got your answer to the question. What was your question actually?
So that if x and a are the same address, if I modify a or x, will it be reflected in the other?
Yeah, his question was, if I when I give the address of a to x, if I modify anything here, will it affect a also? Yes, it is going to affect, and I'm going to show you also while coding. Clear this? This is how the arrays work. So work with basics first, local scope. Anyway, scope I am not covered. Scope I will be covering next topic. There it becomes more interesting. Clear? Clear this? So we are working in the local scope. And you might have a question, what is the use of giving a to x? That here you will not understand. Always you will understand this topic, because see, here you will be thinking, when I am having a, why should I give it to x and use it? You will definitely get this question. You should not think like that now, because what we will be doing is, this value will be giving it to another method. In another method, x will be a parameter of type array. From that point of view you think no. So in the another method you will process like this. In the next method, when you send arguments now, they will be processing it like this. So in local things you will not understand. You will be thinking, what is this headache, why should I do it? Understood? But make concrete your basics. So in later programming, what I will be doing is, x will be in another method. It will be like this. It will be a parameter in M1. That's it. That's all. Main will send that array A. What will main do now? See here. Main, what will it do? It will call M1 and send that A. That's it, over. Now you know how to use X here. As simple as that. Means in main what you will do, you will create of the array. Like this you will create. And main will only send it as an argument. How will it send us? A is the argument. You have created your array. Int A is equal to, you will fill all the values. And then you will simply call. Finished. It will come there. No process. So that is where it becomes important. But for that you should be strong in these basics now. You should know how an array is getting utilized, worked and all that. Then it will become easy to you. Directly if I show you this, you will never understand. You will never even understand the signature of the method. You will never even understand what? Signature of the method. Now the signature is very clearly telling you, the parameter is of type int array. Clearly reflects. So these are the basic problems what you face while programming. Clear this? Shall I clear now everything? Shall I clear and start typing with? See, generally if you notice how I cover, first I'll cover off the concept. Then I'll type it and show it to you for proof. So here what we are trying to learn is concept. Here particularly we are targeting concept, not output. We are every day what I cover now is concept. To prove that concept, I'll take an example. So all the examples in cluster are based on concept, not on output. Output you will definitely get. Any example you take in cluster, I'll give you thousands of examples starting from day one. Okay, all examples are concept based rather than output based. If you know the concept, you can get any output. But till now in colleges you have learnt ulta. You are working for output based, not for concept based. There is a huge difference what you have learnt and what I am trying to teach you. Huge difference. So we are going with concept based programs, not output based programs. Once you are clear with concept, anybody can type anything here. Are you clear with this? We will see arrays now, new Java. Arrays is a class, built-in class. Okay, arrays. Array, what will name? Array local scope demo. Array local scope demo. Okay, see this, we are going with today 12, okay, 12 array arguments, args and parameters, args and params. Getting it or name it properly, array, args and parameters. And one more thing is we'll be seeing scope also today. So I'll make it as 12a. We'll be having two topics today. Okay, so 12a, array, args and params. So in this, what will I do now? I'll say the file. Name your files properly, else you'll find it difficult later. Array local scope demo.java. Fine. So this is again, check whether your program is working, compiles, and it executes also. Program is done. So next, what you do, if you want, you can remove this, let it remain otherwise. So see this, int. What was the variable name I used? A. And I'll print so I'm just printing, nothing else I'm doing. Value of A is, I'll get the error. Variable might not have been initialized. If you're getting doubt with this, say I'll make it as a simple array, simple int, simple int. Still now also I'll get the array. Sorry, still now also I'll get the error. See this. Variable might not have been initialized. Clear this? Variable might not have been initialized. So for this, I'm just making the primitive variable to array variable. That's it. From primitive I made it to array, but still I get the same error. So you can't use a variable until and unless it is initialized. So to initialize it, what will I do now? A is equal to new int of 5. The size can be anything. That's your wish. The size can be of anything. So now you can compile and you can print. What is it printing? Some address now? Some hexadecimal address it is. I wrote 150 there. When I wrote the array, I wrote it as 150. Don't bother about that. So in this line, what has got created? One memory gets allocated now, like this. So there is one array which is getting created. This is A. Address is something like 150. I am writing 150, and the default values in all this is 0. Default. And I'll print and show it here. Okay. So let's see this now. We'll print the address. And one more thing, you are printing SOP A also. If you want, you can print length of A, length of arrays. That also you print. You know how to print the length now? Length of array is plus what? A dot. Getting it? So it will print both. Address also it will print. Length of array is also 5. Are you clear with the basics? Basics you focus. Don't neglect. There you find difficult otherwise. Fine. And fine. I'm repeating all the basics for you now of array. Value of A is plus A, and fine. Let's try to use the array. I'll try to get the value. Int P2 is equal to A of 2. Value of P2 is, sorry, int value of P2 means our value of value in the second index, I'll write. Value in second index or P2 is what? Plus P2. What will be the answer? 0. Anything, value in second index or P2 is 0. And if I want, I can directly print. See SOP, I can print here. Instead of P2, what will I print? Sorry. A of, I can directly print A of P2. Yes, good. This is also accessible. Directly you can print plus value in second index is. Like this also you can directly access it and print. Both will print you 0. There I am accessing and storing it in another variable or directly printing it. Are you clear with all these basics? Okay. So now next, this is done. So what I'll do is, so in this, what is important now, I'll retain that. Okay, I'll start initializing the array. How do you initialize it? A of 0 is equal to 100. You can initialize all the values. Done. And now the same thing we'll try to print here. Earlier it was 0, no? I'll just use P2 again. I'll not declare it. Value in P2 in second index or P2 after initializing. Getting it now? After value in second index after initializing. Okay, here also after initializing value in second index. After initializing. Done? So see this. It will be what? See the first output you see? Earlier it was 0, 0. Now it is 102, 102. Yes or no? Fine. Now you can use the enhanced for loop also or for loop also. That's your wish, and you can work with all the values. So when you are creating an array like this, fine. Sometimes you will create an array in this way also. What will you do? This is also possible. Int A is equal to, this time you will not use any new give and all that. Yes or no? Clear? Directly you can work. So here you will not use any new, but the same thing now will happen. In one line only what will happen? Declaring, creating and initializing will happen. This is also correct. Now see, I'll directly work with this. Okay, semicolon is missing. Plus P2. Okay, I'm trying to declare it again here. I declare this. Now it works. Directly also you can do. Okay, so here you are not using any new. Directly you are declaring, creating and initializing. But once the array is created in Java, remember the rule. It cannot increase. You cannot, for this array also you cannot give a value more than 5th index. Understood? Because only 4 index. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Understood? Only 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I try to work with 5th index, it is not possible. After creating, you can't initialize also, you can't access the value also. Array index out of bound exception will occur. Clear? So anyway, more about arrays we'll discuss later. The array is a very big subject. Still it is not getting over. My total concentration now is just to send it as arguments and parameters. That is my focus. So just learn how to send an array as argument and parameter. How to work with an array still in detail I'll take you later. Understood? So all this is done. So now this also I'll comment. Yeah, I think we worked with all this array. Now I'll write okay, we'll come back to our program now. So this is a array. Fine, all this you saw. Now I'll have an array of type X. Now I'm not specifying the size for this, I'm just declaring the array. Yes or no? So now let's see this. I'll comment these two output because it will be confusing for us. We'll just look into what now? Value of A is length of the arrays. Same output I'll give for what? X, but I'll get error. When I'll get error? Compilation time. This is one great advantage in Java. In C, any junk value it will start printing. You declare an array and start printing. Only junk values will start seeing there. But Java does not allow you to work with junk values. That's one great feature of Java. Value of X is, and even if I try to print the length, I'll get the error. Notice carefully now. Huh? What? Plus X, okay. Okay, so we get the error. X might not have been initialized. You are trying to work with X without initializing it. That's the error what it means. So I'll initialize it now. See how will I initialize? X is equal to A. What did I do now? Carefully see this. What am I doing? Assignment operator. The value from the right hand side is given to the variable to left hand side. Whatever is the value it will give. What was the value of A? You know very well. What was the value of A? Address. Same value is given to X. One more new array is not created. It is referring to what? Same thing has happened now. This is given, this address is given to X now. It is referring to before 0th index. Both are referring to, this is also A, this is X. Both are referring to 150. Both. And if you want, you can notice we'll print the address. And see, value of A is, just get it down. Back we'll scroll up. Okay, first this output now. See, value of A is, it will print that output. Then length of the array is 5. A array. Now, we'll come down and see this output. Okay, this one we are printing it. Anyway, leave the last two output, or I'll comment it off. We'll focus on only 4 output now. Yes, can you see it's giving the same address now? A and X, what it is? Same address. And what is the length? 5. But did I create a new array? It's referring to that. Now let's work. Directly I try to access the value. Which value I'll try to access? I'll access it from what? A also plus X. I'll access it here. Shall I delete this part? Okay, let it remain otherwise. It will go down. Okay, value in second index of, I'll modify it here, of A array is plus what? A of 2. Got it now? Same output, and this is not required, this variable. Okay, same way I'll print what? Sorry, I think I should print it after initializing. I should print it where? After initializing, no? I'll print it here, both of them I'll print here itself. See this, value of second index in A array is A of 2, value of this in X array plus X of 2. See the output very clearly. What is the value? 102, 102. Both are working in the same array. Clear? Then next, if you want, I'll just store it in a variable also and show you. Int P is equal to A of 2. Int Q is equal to X of 2. What will be the values? Value of P and Q. Both will be same, man. Value of P and Q is P plus Q. Okay, if you want, you can add a tab there. Getting it done? Otherwise, it will print together. That's it. Done? So focus on P and Q value. What is the value? Value of P and Q is 102 and 102 now. Clearly shows that both are getting the value from the same array. So this will be helpful when now? Arguments and parameters. So when you give the address, when you send it as an argument, the address will be given now. And your parameter will be working with the same array. Understood? Fine. Okay. Now the question is, does Java work on call by value or call by reference? We get this question now. So if it is primitive variables, it is call by value. Primitive. Yesterday we were seeing now int A and int X as parameter. Value in A was given as whatever the value, man. Whatever is the value in the variable will be given to that variable. So if it is a primitive value, it will give primitive value. It is a reference value, it will give reference value. I'll explain that, but just let us see this. Okay, so this is how it works. Now this is done. Now I'll try to modify. I'll come back to call by value and call by reference later. Just focus on what? This one, array you focus now. So now I'll modify it. How will I modify? I'll modify it in X. X of what will I do? 2. In second index I'm modifying is equal to what? 2, 2, 2 I'll give. Now what happens? We'll print now. Value in, I'm modifying there. And after modifying, value of second index of A, after modifying is value in second index after modification is, you can see the output. See in A of 2, what am I printing? I'll just reduce the output, what is that statement? Value in second index of value in second index X array. Just I'll reduce because you can see it clearly on the board. Is it visible? A of 2 and X of 2. So carefully notice this. After modification is what? 3 volt I modified in X of 2, but it is affecting what? A of 2 also. See this output here. A of 2 as well as X of 2. Very clearly I have written. And see the output. In second index, you can focus on this. This two output you can see here very carefully. See the last output. This and this. This output is this and this output is this. Clear? Any questions? So that's how an array works.
Sir, while assigning the values to one array to another array, while declaration only we can assign. Like int x equal to
No, you can. Okay, his question is, while declaring only can I assign? Yes, valid. Is equal to A is valid. But I just declared it in one line and assigned it in next line. Declaring and initializing can be done in one line only. Understood? Declaring and initializing can be done in one line. I'll be talking about that subject later in depth. Okay, declaring and initializing can be done in one line. This is also correct. See, I'll comment it. It will compile. Understood? Clear this? Okay. So now we have learned it locally now. Now we have to understand how to send it as arguments. I'll show you as arguments now. Okay. Shall I close this now, program? Okay. Now see, new Java array args and param demo. Array args, param and return type. I'll cover it off here itself. Sorry, no space. And while giving the file name, ampersand is valid or not? Class name? Valid, not valid? Huh? What all is allowed? Dollar and underscore. Yes or no? Good. So one thing I'll do, I'll keep it in the same name. Args param return demo. Okay, we'll say the file .java. Fine. See, first I'll talk about local, which one, sorry. I'll be talking about primitive variables. First I'll show you primitive variables. Then I'll come back to what? You got the idea of that now? Modifying and all that? I modified in the second, no need to represent it diagrammatically now. Earlier what was the value? 1 second. See, if I modify it like this, what will happen here? After initializing, this will be the value. But when you modify like this, where did I modify? It was getting modified in the second index. And this value is overwritten to 2. It overwrites. And if it is modified there, X also will get affected, A also will get affected. Just summarized diagrammatically for you. Clear? Just I summarized diagrammatically for you. Yeah? Okay. So this is done. So first I'll show you this one only. I'll show you a M1 method with what? Static void M1 int P. I show you primitive variables. Int Q. So I am printing the value of A. Also I will print the value, sorry. And after calling the method also I will print the value of what? After call. Value of B after call is plus B. Okay, I will call the M1 method. Now, if I modify it here, yes or no? Will it affect there? Notice. Notice, if I modify it here, it will not get affected there. First work with primitives like this properly, then you start getting the clear idea about what? Value of P. Before modifying. But this will not be the case with what? Array. Value of Q before modifying. P into is equal to 2. Same thing I'll take. Q divided by is equal to 2. You know, P and Q is not, if P and Q is modified, A and B is not modified, no? It is happening locally also. I've shown you locally. See, in local what happens? We have seen this locally. In main method, int A. See, understand the difference here first. We have to understand call by value and call by reference. Understand what is call by value and call by reference, then you'll get to understand how to send array as argument. So first I'll cover this. Class demo, PSVM, see this. First we'll work with local scope. Int A is equal to 15. Int B is equal to 20. Int P is equal to 0. Int Q is equal to 0. I want to assign the value of A to P. Fine, this is how you do it. And now you modify P into is equal to 2. Q divided by is equal to 2. Will it affect A and B? 100% it will not affect. Yes or no? A, B remains as what? 15, 20 itself. PQ is printing as, this is 15, this is 20, this will be 30, this will be 10. Valid. See here in this case, value of P and Q is 15 and 20. If you print here, I didn't print it, P and Q will be what? 15, 20. But after you modify, P and Q is modified, but A and B remains as the same 30 and 10. Same thing will happen. If you send it as argument also, same thing will happen. But remember, when you are assigning the value, let it be local scope or parameter. Whatever the value is in the variable, same value is given to the other variable. That is what you have to understand. What is the value in A now? Primitive value. But same value is given to this one. The type of value depends. It is primitive value. But in this case, array case, what it is? It is address case or reference case. So there what will be given? Address will be given. So you can see it here. So we were working with array just now. Okay, I'll have main, I'll have an array now. Int A is equal to new int of 5. And here I'll declare, okay, I'll initialize. You know how to initialize now? A of 0 is equal to 100. All this is fine now. Once your array is ready, what will you do? You can assign it. I'll say, see, int x array is equal to A. The value of A is given to x. But difference is what? There it is primitive value. What is the value stored in P here? I told you, data types are used for storing what? Values. Data types are used for storing values. And there are two types of values. One is primitive value, one is the reference value. Okay, we are slowly starting the reference. Okay, and we'll see how Java handles this very elegantly. Here while handling we are not using pointer, noticing. We are not using pointer, it is very simple. Even though we are dealing with address, we are not dealing with pointer here. The syntax is very comfortable. You give the address of A array to X array, but without the concept of what? pointer, very cleverly handled. And Java is strictly type checked. It is comfortable for developer also. That you notice. Understood? Even though you are working with addresses, it is so comfortable here. Okay. So anyway, how to work with address of A, B and all, we'll see later. Just concentrate on how to work on address of arrays now. How to work with address of A, B, P, Q, primitive variables. You cannot work in Java. We'll see that later. I'll talk about addresses later. It's slowly the topic is opening up now. So here what happens, remember that when you're assigning a value to one variable, whatever is the value in the other side of the variable, same value will be given to this now. So here it is, see here it is value, primitive value. Understand the difference. But here it is reference value or address value. We call this as reference value. So now when you give this value to another method, if you pass that argument, it will be called by value. If you pass this argument, it will be called by reference. As simple as this. If you pass that argument, it will be called by value. If you pass this as an argument, means if you pass primitive variables as an argument, it will be called by value. If you pass array as an argument, it will be called by reference. Nothing more here. Understood? So this topic will become very clear to you as the course progresses, because it's a big topic now what we are opening up. Okay, and Java handles this very elegantly. In C, to work with address, you minimum spend 4 months. Pointer, single pointer, double pointer, triple pointer, dead. You are gone. Okay, but in Java we'll handle this elegantly in 15 days. It will be over, closed topic. You'll not even have to worry about this. Understood? It's so comfortable in Java. Okay, a subject so vast in C has been minimized to a just 15 days concept here. It is so simple. Okay, in other languages, you might think now C is very difficult. But in other languages, it's so difficult that you can't even code only. Understood? It's so difficult that you can't even code. So now what we are focusing now, I'll be sending primitives also as argument. In that case, it will be called by value. But if you pass array as an argument, it will be called by reference. So remember, you are having 3 types of data types. Now where and all call by reference will work. Data types is of 3 types. What is that? Primitive data types. Derived types, that is array. Then you are having user defined data types. We have not reached user defined data types. You know there are 3 types of data types now. So in this it will be called by value. Here it is called by value in Java, and for these both it is called by a reference. I give you plenty of examples, you'll understand. So there is no call by reference for primitives in Java. There is no call by reference in primitive for Java. For primitive there is no call by reference. A, B is there, no. I have to send the value only. I cannot give the what? Address of A to P. I cannot give the address of B to Q. I cannot give the address. I can give the value only. So for primitive variables they have eliminated address concept. That is the great benefit what you are getting here. For primitive values, they are eliminating the address. Understood? Let's see how this will be handled very elegantly in Java. For these two, it will be called by reference. Are you clear? Just circle it off. Because this primitive value is related to this. Clear this? So we have started with array now. So that's why we are working with call by reference. Clear? Shall I show you now how to send it as an argument? I will show you how to send it as an argument now. Clear? This is local. Work, understand locally. If you have any doubts in arguments and parameters, work locally first. Then you can work what? Arguments and parameters. Because argument and parameters is just doing the same thing but assigning in different scope. Doing the same thing but assigning in different scope. Here you are assigning in local scope, but there you will be assigning in different scope. Friends, from one method you will give it to another method. Clear now? Shall I clear everything? Shall I code now? Already coded, I'll just get the output for you. So these are the different data types. Primitive data types, derived types and user defined types. User defined types, how many are there? Class, subclass, abstract class, interface. So when you send any of these arguments, it will be what? Call by reference. So we have not seen all that till now. But when I send it, you will understand. Understood? So for all these data types it is called by reference. Understood? But for primitive it is called by value only. Clear? And to make you understand this, what is needed here? Experience now. So all this is what now? You are purely talking from experience point of view. You should know the language in depth, then only you can go in depth and cover all this. Clear? So slowly the subject will open up now, and we are reaching to this level very shortly. Class, subclass and all that. Clear? Then it will become very interesting. So keep your basics fully ready so that we can start designing our user-defined data types to a great extent. You know, you'll be designing user-defined types now. In C, what you call your user-defined data type? Structure. And working with structure in C is so difficult. But you see now in Java it will be so easy for you. Very easy for you. Clear? So anyway, that is the next topic which will be starting in 1 hour. Don't bother. So, and now we are dealing with, since I am passing in this example, I am passing primitive variables, it will be called by value. Yes or no? Now I just know what I type now. A and B to P and Q. Whatever the value is there, what value is there in A? Primitive value is there. And that primitive value is of type what? Numerical value. The primitive value is of type numerical value, and I am sending it to P and Q. It will be accepted and it will be type checked. Yeah? So now see, value of first output, value of A, it will be 15 and 20. B is 20, it will print 15 and 20. Next, A, B, it will print what? Same, after calling the method also. But here, PQ will be what? 15, 20. After I modify, it will be 30 and 10. Yes or no? So let's see the output. So this clearly reflects call by, what is that? Sorry, P is multiplied by 22. Okay, that's clean. So value of A and B 15, 20. Now P and Q starts off. It is 15 and 20 before modification. After modification, so I didn't change the output there. Before I have kept. After you make. Here also make. After. Yes, now very neat and clean. You can see this output. A, B is 15, 20. P and Q before is 15, 20. Now P and Q after modification is 30 and 10. A and B remains as same. There is no change. Clear? Clear? Okay, now this is done. Okay, so what I'll do now next is I'll send as argument. I'll change this method name to M1. I'll write M2 on the top, and that's it, because it will be visible for us clearly. And these lines primitive. Okay. We'll comment of all this. Now, shall I directly initialize the array here itself? Can you follow? Should I have to say new int and all that? No, no. Okay, just see this. Int A is equal to 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. That is your size. And this should be of type array. Yes or no? Now an array is ready here. Just think that the array is ready. Either you can declare it in many ways. You can do it in many ways. Int A, you know, just now it worked. Okay, you can do it in all the way. My simple intention is I want to pass this array as an argument to another method. Okay. So you know, if I print SOP A, what it prints here? I'll only print the address and length. System.out.println A, and also means value of A is plus A. A dot length, both I will print. Understood? And this is okay, we don't have any issues. And you can work with the which one now? Array also. But my intention is I don't want to process the array here. Processing, I'll do it in what? Another method. So I'll write static void M2. You can write the methods in any order, but main is going to look for JVM is going to look for main method. You can write it in any order. So now see, my parameter is of type array. Are you following? I should not write only int x. I should write what? See how I have written. What is the parameter now? Int x braces. And this brace can be on the right side or it can be on left side. Both are correct. Both are correct. Declaring an array. Clear? That's it. Now you can work with your array here. Value of, say, just see how I'm sending the values. Value of x is we can refer to the address. That's it. Now say for, I can use both the loops. You want ns for loop or what? I use directly ns for. I'll just show you the value. Int I. We can use both this one. Int I colon x. That's it. What will I do? Sorry, colon no. Done. Shall I run this program now? And I still have not invoked this method. So what should be the invoking thing now? M2, and I have to pass what? Just I'll pass A as the argument. That's it. Understood? Are you clear this? And if I modify here, will it affect there? Yes, no? If I modify anything in the array, will it modify the value in A? It will modify. Are you following now? It will modify. So work with the basics. First I am not modifying, just see the output. So it prints value of x is, see what is the address? X is, see in the top only A address I am printing. Now next directly x will start off. Address is same, size, length is same, values are same. And if I modify here, definitely it will modify what? A. I will modify here. See this. After all this, I will modify x of 2 is equal to 222. And after modification, after this method is called, I will print here value in second indexes. Value in second index is plus, what will I do? A of 2. Directly you can print. Valid now? What will be the value? Earlier I will print before calling the method. Before calling the method I will print. Value in second index is after second index after M2. Just I'll keep the message simple. See value in 2 index after M2. Can you see that? What is it? 222. Here also I didn't print here. See, after accessing all the values I modified. After accessing all the values I modified. Sorry. After accessing all the values I modified. That's why if you want you can print here also. Value in after M2 or in main. Value in second index after M2. You print anything, man, that's your wish. In main method. So here it will be in M2 method. So understand the basics first. This is all very easy. Value in second indexed in M2 method. First it will be printing what? Okay, I have to use x of 2. See this. Here we are printing in M2. After M2 is completed, control will go back to main. So both the places it's having 222. Clear this? So this is how it works. These are all SCJP questions, huh? Your college point of view, it's already over. When it was over? First 5 minutes I gave introduction, huh? College is over there only. Now whatever you are seeing is from what? application point of view, project point of view, understood? Project or application point of view or SCJP point of view. Clear? Okay. Are you clear with all this now? So we'll have an array as return type. We'll have an array as return type. Okay. You can try with more parameters today. You can try with the parameter of type what? Boolean array. You can try with what? Double array. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Next class I will resolve it. You can have an array of what? Here I am showing you array of type int. Understood? And one more thing, notice here. See, I'll increase the size here. 105, 106. Now for this one, there is no length. For this one, there is no length. It can refer to an array of any length because it's only going to work with what? Address. This parameter can refer to any int array of any length. This parameter can refer to an int array of any length because it's of type int. It can refer to an int array of any length. It can be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, anything, and that length will be decided where? In an argument. When you are sending now there, it is important. See, here you are not creating the array. Here you are not creating the array. Understand that. Just see it locally here. First you see local. Int a, you are declaring the array. Then you are saying new int. You are creating the array. Then you are giving that address to. Here no need of size. Let it be 10 also. X can refer to that. Let it be 20 also. X can refer to that. X can refer to an array of type int. Same thing here also. Understood? Your parameter can refer to an int array of any size. Why? Because local you study first. Local. This is main method. You study it in local. It can refer to an array of any length. Understood? I will show you the length now. What will be the length? X length will be what? See, it's compiling now. Now see the output. It is 7. Value of A is, this one index is 7 length. Here also you can see address is same, length is 7. Clear? First work locally. Okay. Now you might have a question. What is the next question you will have? I will have an array of int. Can I pass it to array of double? Think. So this is an array of int now. Let us try to pass it to an array of what? Double. What will happen? No. No. Understood? Here it is strictly type checked. Address of what? Int array to address, which one? Int array only. Address of double array. Here you are dealing with address. There you are dealing with primitive value. Understood? See, int and int, it will work fine. Okay, int and int is working fine. The same if I just modify int to double. I am not making double to int. Double to int 100% not possible. With primitive only it is not possible. Here what? Possible loss of precision. You are trying to use the address of int array to an array of type double. This is not possible. You are typecasting it because you are dealing with address here. You are not dealing with primitive value. Understood? But here you are saying possible loss of precision. 1 second, okay. 1 second. Yeah, he's got a good point here. Double, anywhere I am using it. No, cannot be applied to M2. It's of type int. Right? His question was I was accessing from X int. But now I will make it double only. But still, what is the error? I am not using anywhere int here. You can notice. So it's saying cannot apply. Error is different now. It cannot be applied to M2 because the array is of type int. You are sending an address. It's not possible. Whatever the error, you just find it out. Okay. It is not possible. You cannot send the address of. Give the address of. Understand the point. You cannot give the address of int array to double array. This is not possible. So this is say writing logic is very, very easy. Because if you know how to handle values, writing logic is very easy. Now you are understanding how difficult it is to handle values. We are still not written any logic till now. And we are finding difficulty in handling values. And this is a good benefit in Java. You know why? In C, what is happening? What's going to happen now? This is very clear, because here I am writing the logic assuming that the array is of type what? Int array only. I am writing so confidently. You send me on double gibble and all that, what will happen now? Problems will be there. Okay. So now means here I am assuming that if this is double. Assuming that this is double. Here fully I will be writing the logic based on that it is double. But now this is here it is strictly type checked. But in C now what happens? To pass an array as an argument we use int pointer p. That's the problem. Now this pointer p can take address of what? Anything. That's one big headache. Initially Java looks confusing, but end of the day you find lot of benefits here. That pointer p can hold address of what? Single variable also, structure also, array also, double array also, anything. So it will compile, but during runtime you will face lot of problems now. Understanding how difficult C is while programming. Understood? So C is not strictly type checked. It will compile off. Here the parameter will be of type what? Pointer p. And that can accept which one? Address of anything. But you have written a logic here assuming that you are getting an address of array. And you will start facing problem now. I will send an address of what? Primitive variable. Address of A I will send. Primitive variable. Now doesn't your logic go wrong here? Now whom you have to blame? Either you have to blame the caller of the method or the person who has written the method. Nobody is to blame. Both are correct from their point. You are telling pointer, I am sending the address, he'll say. Now the person who has written the method will say what? I am assuming that you are sending an array, so the cat and mouse fight will start now. Whose problem? But here all that problem is not there. If I write this method, it is your problem to send the correct value now. Means it's the problem of the caller. He has to send correct value. If he sends correct value only then my logic will execute. Clearly defined, so clearly defined, and that's what I told you. In Java or generally in all languages, writing function logic is very difficult. The main thing what we find difficult is argument, parameter, return type. Everybody struggles there in every language, not only in this. Everybody struggles. But in Java we overcome this very fast. We can identify problems here very fast. Clear? So here it should be compulsory of type what? What should be the array of type? Not double. Int only. Now it will work. Are you clear? Practice all this. So int to double I did. Double to int there is no question only.
Sir, then auto promotion won't work for arrays, sir?
We are dealing with address here. We are not dealing with the content of the array. I am not dealing with, auto promotion doesn't work. Okay, you can't auto promote the address. You can auto promote the value. Typecasting is possible only for what? Values. Typecasting is not possible for address. Understood now? Can you typecast address? It is not possible to typecast address. Understood? Typecasting address means what? Address only will change now. So you can't typecast address. You can only typecast values. Primitive values can be typecasted, not reference values. Typecasting is possible only from primitive value point of view. Clear this? Any other questions, sir? Now what is the next I have to show you? So now it's very clear. You can send an array of what? There's no confusion now. You can send an array of double also. You can send an array of boolean also. You can send an array of char also. You want what? You want which array from to be sent now? You tell now.
I have one more.
Yeah.
Sir, now can we assign this address to one more different array variable?
Anything, when you're having a value, that value can be given to thousands of variables. Think locally. No, see, think locally first. Your question is, if I'm having a value stored in one variable, can I give it to another variable? Very simple question. You don't have to make a big story of this. First think locally. Now, there is one primitive variable. Work with primitive first. Then come to arrays. Can I give the value of 10 to any other variable? Yes. How will you give? Declare it, give. One more variable, declare it, give. But which value you will give? Value of A or value of B? You decide. But value is going to be same. But I can give. Int D is equal to B I will give. Possible. Same thing with array also. What is the difference? Int X is equal to, you have an array now. You have an array now. Now this will depend the size. I want to give it to what? Array of int array. I'll give it to A array. Fine, give it. Now the A I want to give it to B. Fine. B is an array of type what? Int. So what will happen now? First, when you created array, X is there. It is saying what? Only two values have written, no problem. 0, 1. 100, 101 is there. Address is 150. That address you are giving to A. Fine. That address you are giving to B. Fine. As simple as this. And everywhere you are going on to give what? Reference value. You are not giving the value in the array. You are giving the address of the array. You modify, it will affect all. You modify in X. X of 1, you say 111. It will affect A also, B also, because both are referring to the same array. Work locally. Locally work first. Whatever diodes you are having, work locally. Then you come to methods. Do not enter methods directly. Clear this? Any questions?
So here this value is assigned or it is pointing to that address, sir?
Address. I am telling you address.
No sir, not here.
Here it will directly give the value. In this case, okay, his question is, see in the array case, address is given. In the case of array, address is given like this. What happens in the case of A, B, C, D? There it is different. First A is there. What is the value I have taken? 10. So this is one memory. It will be 32 bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll write only 8 bits. You know there are 32 bits. These are 24 bits, which I will not write usually. These are 8 bits. Last 8 bits I write. This is A. How is 10? 100. So 1010. So all are 0 now in the 32 bit. This is A memory. Now B is there. In that address you are putting what? 10 value. C is there. In that address you are putting what? 10 value. D is there. In that address you are putting what? 10 value. But here is what's happening. Single address. Clear? Anyway, address is a topic which is starting now. So obviously it will take some time for you to understand this. The topic of reference has just started. Okay. So the topic of address starts only in user defined type in Java. It does not start in primitive types in Java. I clearly told. You cannot work with the address of primitives. I cannot work with the address of A. I cannot work with the address of B. I cannot work with the address of C. I cannot work with the address of D. I can work only with the value of A, B, C, D. Value stored in A, B I can work. But here in array, you can deal with the address also, or you can deal with the value in the index also. Both you can deal. In array, you can deal with the address also, or you can deal with the value stored in the index also, or value stored in the index of that particular address, to be very precise. Value stored in the index of that address. Like x of 1 means it will be dealing with that 0 index in that address. Sorry, if I say x of 1, what is that you are telling now? X is the address. In this address you are dealing with first index. X of 2 means in that address you are dealing with second index. Clear? Work with single dimensional. Don't bother about two dimensional now. Don't use master brain and work with two dimensional array. Okay. Just work with 1D, then you'll understand all 2D, 3D. Understood? Any other questions? So you want me to send an array of what now? Char I'll send? Char array? Double and all you can try. I showed you how to send int array. Now I'll send an array of what? Char. Understood? Are you clear with this? Return type we'll see next. Shall I clear all this? The next method what I'll write is static void m3. Yeah, I'll be writing static void m3. I think it will switch on. So I'll be sending an array of type character now. Okay, so let's see this, what is happening. Static void m3 what is happening? Project is not switching on. Okay, till the projector switches on, I'll show you how to return an array also, then I'll continue coding. I'll show you how to return an array now, then I'll continue with this. So see this is main method. There is one, see this method now, I'll name it as M4. No parameter. If you want, you can have parameters. You can have a parameter of type what? This is possible, but I'm not concentrating on parameter now, I'll be concentrating on return type. The signature looks like this. Understanding what is the signature? So if your return type has only int, what? Your return type is int. See, if I don't put this brace, the return type is int. You know the signature of the method, now what will the method have? Return type, name, parameter. Okay, so if I just add this brace, automatically you are returning an array of type int. That's it. So whatever you want, you write logic here. That is your wish. Finally, you have to return what? An array. Okay, so you create your array here. How you want to create is equal to new or whatever you want, you wish. You do it, you initialize it. Initialize and return. Otherwise, what is the value you'll be giving? 0, 0, 0 you give. Always it's better you see why are you giving the value, means the idea of sending it as an argument is what? You want to give the values. So initialize it and then you say what is that? Return A will tell. That's all. Now you are accepting. How will you accept? Here there is an array of type like this is equal to what will it do? Simply you are calling M4. That's it, over. But signature you see. If it is parameter, it looks like this. If it is parameter, it looks like this. Are you understanding the difference between parameter and return type? If you are declaring parameter, you will have the variable name. When you are declaring the return type, you will only specify the type without variable. Is these two things clear for you? Clear? So I'll just show you how to send character array, then I'll return an int array. That will close the topic. Clear? So this M3 is a char array. So x dot length. Now to invoke this, you can again print all the values. So when you are printing, what will you print now? The char will be of type what? The parameter will be of type what? Char I. Yes? And I can print all the values. You modify, again it will modify. That and all you do now. But I'll just show you how to send the char values. So now you have to create an array now of type what? Char. Char C or char P is equal to, I'll declare create and initialize here only, na? Single quote use. A, comma, B, comma. So I'm sending 5 values. It's an array, but I have to use what? The array symbol here. Else it will be treated as a this one variable, primitive variable, and the value of P is plus value of length of P is So this is done. And value in second index would be what? P of 2. If you want, you can print it. You print it here. Second index is what? C, no? Then I'll call which method? M3 method. And I'll send what? We're sending P. P is an array of character. It will come to M3 now. Yes or no? But I have to give a favorite. Which one? Semicolon. Okay, done. So you know, if you want, you can access it here also and print. So if you want, you can access it here and print. That's your wish. I'm just printing only one value in this array here. But all other values I'm printing where? From M3 method. That's what we are focusing. How to send values from one method to another method. If there are multiple values like this in your method, you use an array. Now what is the advantage of using an array? Your parameter size will reduce now. If you want to send 5 values, what is the problem? All of same type. You are write int. Parameter will become what now? Int A, int B, int C, int D. You are sending 5 character values. Then your parameter will become char A, char B, char C. Instead of that what? That's the advantage of using an array. Because storing also is easy, processing also is easy. We can send multiple values from one location to another location. But if you are holding in single variable, if there are 100 phone numbers, and for 100 phone numbers you are storing in 100 variables, and now you want to send it to another place for processing. Now your parameter will become 100 now, and when you are calling the method also you have to write 100 arguments. So that is the reason we start using arrays. Are you understanding the benefit of using an array? If you use this user defined types, you can send multiple values in one go. And parameter also will be simple, argument also will be simple. Understood? Your parameter would have been what otherwise? For 5 values, parameter will become char A, char B, char C, char D. Understood? So that's the problem. So whenever you want to send multiple values of same type, you can use an array. Similarly, when you want to return multiple values of the same type, use array. Returning. Till now we are able to return what? Single value. But now we can return multiple. See this anyway? So we'll run this program. And now you can see the output. We have sent all the 5 values to what? M3 method now. Value in second index, whatever I am printing, actually I am printing what? Value of x is value of address of x, length of x I should have changed. It is 5, no problem. Just understand I am printing all the values. Understood how I send the values? If I am not sending the values like this, if I want to send 5 values, what should be the parameter now? Char A, comma, char B, comma, char C, like this you have to go on writing now. Similarly, int A, int B, int C, how many times you will write? So that is the advantage of sending what? Using an array. You will never understand the usage of an array in a which one? Main method. See here if you see in this line, you might be thinking what is the use of array? You will never feel the difference. What is that? One array is there, I am working with an array. But imagine so many values will enter your application. You will hold it in an array, and for processing simply you will give the address of that array to another method. That method will process everything now. Understood? This is how technically they will be used. So you should be experts in sending what? Arguments, and as well as return type. Return type I will cover now. That's it. Return type is very easy now. If you know how to send argument and parameter, return type is what? Very simple. So learn one side first fully. First local you finish, then you work with arguments and parameters. Last you come to return type. Because return type is pretty confusing. Why? Because termination also will happen, value also will be returned, control shifts from callee to caller. So many things will happen. So due to that you will find problem. End of the day, return can be used for giving a value. Same thing it will do. But you get confused because it's doing multiple things. Return keyword can do multiple things. That's why you will get confused. So I'll just cover it off now. See, I have an array of type M4. I'll write now. Static. Now what is the array? Its return type is what? Int. This is a signature now. M4. Got it now? No parameter. I'll not take parameter because you'll get confused. But I can have parameter of any type, like yesterday I showed you. Then next what? You can give the body. So here what will you do? The parameters of type int. So fine. I'll copy it from here only. Do whatever logic you want here. That is secondary. Finally you have to do what? You write 1000 lines of code here. I'm returning A. That's it. I'm just returning A. Now the main will call it now. Yes or no? Main is going to call what now? M4. And it's going now M4 will return so many values to main. Now it's up to the main to accept the value or reject the value. If main rejects the value, it is losing what? So many values. So now what are you saying? We are returning so many values from callee to caller. Till now what was happening? We are unable to send multiple values from callee to caller. Caller to callee you can send any number. Understood? But callee to caller only one. Now also I am following the rule. I am not saying I am not following the rule. I am returning only one value, and that is of type A. Still I am following the rule, but it's a array. But array will contain multiple values. That's how you can start returning multiple values in C, C++ and Java also. Same rule. Understood? Same rule. You can return any number of values. So many values you can return now. But remember, if you are using an array, values will be of same type, homogeneous values. If you want different type, one int, one double and all, let's see how you do that later. Right now I am returning multiple values of same type. Clear? Right now I am returning multiple values of same type. If you want multiple values of different type also, I will do it. But you have to have patience. Okay, we are going to do it, no doubt about it. Clear? So now I will call this method M4. And when I call it, see, first I will declare an array here. Just see this. Int A is an array. Sorry, I will take a different name here. X. Or here we will take a different name. Okay, I will take different name here. Because every time we are using X in callee method. So int A. Is A initialized? SOP A is error na? A dot length also error na? Fine. I will call M4. After calling M4 also A is not initialized na? But now see, I can say A is equal to M4. Valid? And now I can print what? I can print length. Where is the length? Okay. See, if I print here, value of A is error, length of A is error, both it will print what? Length of A is error. Okay, let me not do this. So now callee is giving back values to you. Might not have been initialized. Which one is that? Okay, so here the error is what? A is not initialized. So I have to comment this. So once I comment, see, it's a very simple program. A is there, now main is calling only 2 lines, you focus. Okay, I commented everything. A is there, I am calling M4. M4 is called. M4 is returning the value to callee. Callee is returning the value to caller. Main is the caller. M4 is the callee. M4 is returning value. Main is rejecting, it is not accepting. See there. So when I print, nothing happens. We are not accepting the value. If I want, I will accept. How will I accept? A equals. That's it. Again, you might have a question. Can I declare and accept it here itself? Yes, valid. So you can accept like this also directly. Instead of declaring and accessing like this, directly you can do it. Now I will print the same 2 lines. It will definitely work. Done? See, this time A is the address. If you want to print the address of X here, you print the address of this one. Value of X is length of X is, and you print both. Same. A also same, X also same. Fine, next. What will I do? If I want, after returning the values, yes, definitely I can access all the values and print it. Now the caller will start using the value. How will he use the value? Int you are sending now. What is the array of name? A, value of is. So now the main method or the caller method. The callee has returned multiple values to the caller, and caller method can use all the values. Brilliant. Yes or no? But in C and all, this is big headache. Try to pass your array as an argument and return type. Just go and work in C today. You will die. It is impossible because you will start dealing with pointers. In fact, sending an array as argument and return type, you are learning it in the 10th or 12th class of Java. Remember that. In C, to send an argument as an array and return type as an array, minimum you have to spend 3 months. You can imagine the amount of time taken to learn that language. Understood? It's a vast language and that has been relaxed here. You're so comfortably learning the usage of Java language. Okay, but in other languages, C, C++ and all, you will be dealing with pointers. So if you want to work with an array, nightmare is there. It's a big nightmare. But Java is relaxed. Okay, what you have learned is perfect. Only you are a bit confused right now because you are comparing the array of Java with array of C. That is the reason you are confused. Rest all you are clear. Understood? You are clear with the, and what you understood is that is all array in Java. And whatever your confusion, you can leave it off. And one thing I'll clearly tell, when you are learning one language, do not compare that language with another language. When you are learning, after you complete learning, then you compare. Okay, now neither do you know C properly, nor do you know Java properly. If you compare, full confusion only will be there. So don't compare, learn only one. Okay, after you compare, then you start comparing, but at least one you should know to compare, no? So don't compare, because if you compare, I'll tell you what is the problem. One simple example I'll give you. Are you comfortable with this first? Are you comfortable with this? How to return array? Signature you understood? See this, return type. If I remove this brace, return type is what? Int. Return type is int, no, not array. Yeah? So if I just add that brace, again this brace can be where? Let us, I think you can add it this side also. I don't know, let me check it out. I think you can add it here also. No, it's not possible. Here it's not possible. Only it should be before or after the variable. It should be before or after the variable you'll be using, no? There, like here. You are here using declaring the variable, no? Here you can have it left or right, but not here. Yes, I told you not to compare languages. Why you know? I'll tell you. See this. In Kannada I'll tell Ramanu Kadige Hodanu, or Hindi Ram Jangal ko gaya. Yes sir? It's very simple. What is so big thing about this? Now if I ask you to convert it into English, you compare and convert now. Let me see. Ram Jangal ko gaya or Ramanu Kadige Hodanu. What will happen? Ram forest went. Is the statement correct? Correct now. Ramanu Kadige Hodanu. Ram Jangal ko gaya. Ram, correct. First line. We are comparing now. Next is what? Jungle. So I'll write forest. Hodanu. Gaya. Went. Is this correct? So one language will have one syntax. You can't compare and learn. So when you're learning English, learn English separately. When you're learning Kannada, learn Kannada separately. Afterwards we'll compare. Like how you compare in English, what happens? After noun, verb will come. Yes or no? There are rules of English. Similarly in Kannada also there will be something. After noun, something will come, something will come, something will come. Now you can compare. Before learning only, you start comparing means what will happen? It will come butler English. That is communication English. Here also while learning Java, if you compare it with C, butler Java it will become or butler C it will become. Simply you don't blame that is difficult, this is difficult. Precisely you learn one thing professionally, then you compare. So now whenever comparison is required, I will do it little for you. You don't do it because you don't have the ability to compare. Whenever the comparison is required, I will little tell you because I have to carry both. I am showing you how Java is more comfortable over other languages. Okay, you have learned array in Java in 12 days, it's amazing. In no language you can learn an array so fast. Especially data types. Nobody can learn so fast. Almost all we have finished the language only, we have to cover only data types now. Understood? It's that simple. So you don't compare. As and when I'll compare, you'll understand. Once I say Java is over, now you take any language and compare. You compare Java with Pascal also, you compare Java with assembly also, no problem. Understood? Or you compare Java with C also. But till we finish, do not compare. Understood? Some doubts will remain, but they'll get cleared as we complete this subject. Yeah? They do remain here and there. I'm not saying no. And might be, you can't express it also. Some doubts you'll be having in such a way that you can't explain it to me also. Don't worry, that will be solved. Okay, but what you have learned and understood in Java, that is what we require, nothing more than that. How to send multiple values from caller method to calling method and calling method to caller. That is what we needed and we have done it. Understood? But remember, we are sending homogeneous values. Okay, So in a method, if I want to send 5 int values, this will be the signature. 5 int values, int D, int E. Now imagine 5 parameter, okay. When it increases to 20 parameters, what will you do? Again you will increase the parameter. So and here what is the size is fixed. You have to send 5 only. Tomorrow I will get 20 values. How will I send? Sometimes values are unpredictable. You will not know 4, 5, 6, you will never know. So better you put it into an array and send. There are so many advantages. Here 5 means only 5, no? Now main wants to call M4 method. What should main do now? Send only 5 int. Now if I want to send 6th int, what to do? But better, see now, I want to send multiple values of same type. Sometimes you will not know the size. In that case, what you do? Prefer array. Put all the values and you will only give what? See, int A. Size can be anything, don't bother. 5, 10, 20, 25. 25 also fine. Simply send M4 of A. Here your parameter will be what now? So now this is M4. Instead of that M4, take this M4 now. Int parameter is of type array, finished. 25 you want, 30 you want, send. Return type also, any number of values. But all of same type. Homogeneous values. Clear? Any questions? No? Life and scope, next class we'll see. This is only overloading. This one. So practice this. Okay. Any other doubts you're having? Next class you bring. But it's simple now. You can try sending what? Double array, int array I have shown. Char array I have shown. Float you can try. But work with only the regular things. Which one? Double you work, int you work, long you work, boolean you work. Okay. Other things very rarely you use. And the last point, typecasting of reference value is not possible. But primitive value is possible. That's it. Yeah. So you can't typecast. Array means you cannot have an array of type double and send int as the argument. Yeah. That's it.